Then one day in the office, I remember we had a customer support line and Dragon's Den called and an intern picked up the phone and said, Michelle, they're looking for you at Dragon's Den. And everyone in the office knew this because we had kind of a small, like 30-person office, right? And I was like, this has got to be a joke or like a prank call or something. And I got on the phone and they go, no, we've seen you in a magazine article. We'd like for you to audition. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm sure they have the wrong person, but I should just go and do it. And so I went, and the way you audition for Dragon's Den is they mock up the show. So they have 8 other people that are auditioning and they bring in an entrepreneur and they're pitching and everyone's talking over each other and I couldn't get any words in. And I just felt completely deflated as I left there. And one of the producers came up to me as I was just leaving and they go, we're thinking of producing a web series and, wanted to see if you were interested in being a part of it. And in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, that's so nice, but that's what they like. Tell the losers. I mean, that's what they tell the people that didn't get the chair. And believe it or not, they called me back and we made this little web series that was a kind of a tech version of Dragon's Den called Next Gen Den. Smaller deals, all tech. I got 3 days of filming in. I got to figure out what television was like, how to build sound bites. And then that fall, I was asked to join the main show and I was 28 years old. I was the youngest dragon, I think, in everywhere the show is made. It's called Shark Tank in some jurisdictions, called Dragon's Den in others, but it's all the same Sony format. And, I then moved from being this like gritty kind of entrepreneur hustler into being an investor for the first time in my life. I just joined the show. I am feeling like I don't belong there. And not because anyone was unwelcoming, just because I'm just so nervous. I've never done television. I'm trying to figure out everything from how I sit up straight to how I talk to entrepreneurs to how I get these deals done. And one of the things that most people don't know about the show is that we do 250 pitches in 17 days. So we do this all in a 2-week block. And so a lot of things start to crystallize because even if you're a VC, you're not seeing 10 pitches a day. And the bias on Dragon's Den is always to see consumer brands and e-commerce companies because no one at home sitting on their couch is interested in a B2B software company. And so I'm seeing all these consumer products and all the pitches are starting to sound the same. I'm here looking for $100,000. I'm willing to give up 5% of my company. And when you ask those founders what they needed the capital for, what's remarkable is that they said 2 things. Always, I need to go buy customer acquisition, which is I need to go buy Facebook and Google ads, or I need to go buy my inventory. And I just sat back in my chair after hearing the 20th pitch that sounded the exact same. And I'm like, hold up. This makes no sense that founders are giving up equity and control of their business to do something with a fixed return. That was the magic of Facebook. Inject $1, you got $3 in sales out. Buy a piece of inventory for 50 cents, sell it for $1.50. There was a fixed return on these items. And equity capital is true risk capital. It's actually 0 to 1 risk. It's you want to build rockets and see if you can go to Mars. I have no idea if this is going to be successful, but that is equity-like risk. Expanding into a new country is equity-like risk. And so on the show, Dan, I'm like, okay, just going to throw this out there. Different deal type. Why don't I give you the same $100,000 you're looking for? But instead of taking 5% of your company, which I will own forever, I want 5% of your revenue until you pay me back my capital plus a 6% flat fee. So for $100,000, you were going to pay me back $106,000. The capital wasn't very expensive. This was not a loan. There was no personal guarantee or fixed payment timelines or compounding interest. It was a true rev share. I got a little bit of return on my money. And the founder that day was like, 100%, I'm taking Michelle's deal. And that really got Andrew and me thinking about what this could be. And I never thought that this is what became Clearbank. We have now invested more than $1.6 billion into 4,000 different founders around the world. I mean, that is we invested 30 million pounds in the UK even before we launched the country, which is as large as most seed stage funds. And more importantly, we've allowed all of these founders to regain control of their company because they've been able to grow without giving up equity. And the other important characteristic is, so I did the first deal myself. I said, look, the only hitch of my deal is I have to see your Facebook ad account because I know what I'm looking for because I ran an e-commerce company for so many years. But as we started doing more of these, we started building a bunch of data science where you had to plug in the accounts, the apps that run your business, and then we would use data science to figure out what your unit economics were and what your business looked like. And we would give you a term sheet in 20 minutes. This process would all be very quick. And by using just data science to determine, who gets capital and how much capital they get, when we looked back 3 years in, our portfolio looked totally different. I mean, we had backed 8 times more women than the venture capital industry average. We had backed founders in every state in America. I mean, in the US, 80% of VC goes into 4 states in America. Same thing in the UK, 70% of our founders lived outside of London. And we had just totally changed the game for founders, and have inspired this model in many other places around the world. And so it's been an absolutely surreal experience, to be honest, to be a part of something this big.
And how long has it been going so far?
So we started in 2015. So this is year 6 for us. And so it's another important lesson is that even when you are like, well, Michele had started 5 businesses before this, she must have known what she was doing. This e-commerce product was the 3rd thing that we tried at ClearBank. And this was the one that finally worked.